Huh. Maybe I turned it off. Maybe the phone is like, screw you with this whining about how everybody's going to judge you. Okay, let me start over. I just took this trip to Vegas because I feel pretty strongly that if I'm traveling, that I should help people that are being nailed by tourism, people that need jobs really badly. And maybe that was a ghost that turned the video off. Anyway, sorry. I guess this is 3 videos. Because no, I can edit, but I suck at it. So I don't edit. So anyway, as you know. So yeah, I keep traveling to these places where people make their money off of tourism, and that's why I picked Las Vegas. Plus, seriously, I don't know if you heard it, Meow Wolf, awesome. Neon Museum, awesome. And then there's the rest. Right now, they are starting to get more tourists in Las Vegas. It's great, but they have not hired the people back yet. So there are terrible lines, and especially getting a cab and going. You cannot get cars. I mean, the rentals are something like $400 a day if you can find a car rental. And cabs, you spend hours and hours and hours and pay ridiculous amounts to get a cab. So really, truly, the first day I was there, it was something like 4 hours waiting altogether to get a cab to move from place to place. Hi, Ghost. There he is. Although it sounded like a woodpecker. Ghost? Ooh, my cat. There's a ghost. You hear it? Hi, Ghost. Have a good night, Ghost. Notice you did not hear it until you got right next to the woods. Now I'll keep walking, and I'll get past this woods, and won't hear it again. I'd never hear anything. Like I said, maybe a woodpecker. They only come out during the day. They don't quite sound like that. There's more of an echo. Have a good night, Ghost. But I did also... That's Poppy. Bye, Ghost. You hear him meowing? I don't know. I can hear him meowing. Anyway, so, big problem finding cabs. I was out at the Neon Museum, which you go to at night, so you can see the signs. And it's out in the middle of nowhere. It's not near the strip at all. And no cabs. And the place was closed. And they were quite concerned because, there is crime there. The people that were working, the security people, because I guess there's 3 security people that stay there all night long because it's such a bad area, they were like, why don't you just take a bus? The buses run 24 hours a day. Take a bus. Plus, I'm not their problem anymore, right? Hey, Pop. So, I took a bus. You know what happens when you take a bus? There's people on the bus. Hey, cat. You missed the ghost. Poppy. Pop. Okay. He doesn't want to look at the camera. Come on, Poppy, let's go. Anyway, so. Some guy came over and started talking to me on the bus. And again, I get suckered into things because I don't want to be rude. And they sort of know this. To a degree, I can sell salespeople and I can get away from them. I might give them 5 minutes to give me their spiel, but I think more than average folks, I'll get suckered into a salesperson just to listen to them because I don't want to be rude, to get away from them. I know as an avoidant personality disorder person that sounds bonkers. But standing up for myself and being assertive is really difficult. So if you've got somebody who is assertive, who's in your face, I don't know. And again, if somebody starts talking to me, I don't talk about myself. I talk about stories. And you know what? Okay, do you know in Shakespeare, this is this is Lit Major 101. Whenever Shakespeare says seem about something, it seems something's happened, that is 100% of the time means that the opposite is actually what's happened. So I seem, meaning I'm not, but it looks that way on the surface, like I'm an interesting person with lots of interesting stories, which of course is not true. I mean, well, it is. I have interesting stories about stuff, but they run out, and I'm not an interesting person underneath that. That is my mask. This personable, whatever, mask that I put on. Anyway, and again, it is Las Vegas. So this guy started yapping at me, talking to me, and talking back, and it was obvious even to me that he was hitting on me. He kept like nudging me and things with his hand. And he wanted to know how old I am. Well, I just turned 49, and this kid is 28. I mean, this is clearly a matter of this kid. Okay, now here's where it comes. This is the point. I'm starting to make these assessments that are accurate. I'm going to stick with the facts first, okay? And then walking around, and I was like, okay, so I'm staying in a casino prices. I'm like, I'm going to go over to CVS and get a bottle of soda. Because there it's like $2.50 for an entire 2-liter soda versus $6.50 for a single serving at any place, plus stand in line forever because, again, they haven't hired the people to man anything yet. So everything is like a 45-minute line in Vegas. Except, of course, the slot machines. They got those everywhere. And I kept saying, well, I'm going to go get some. He's like, we're going to. I was like, I'm going to. And then I because of course, one of his questions is, are you married? And I'm like, nope, I don't want to impose. There's a second cat. Do you see him? No, you can't see much of anything. Eyes. That's Percy. And there's Poppy. And it doesn't matter that I have the light on. You still can't see him, so let me turn it off. So anyway, so this guy it was like 45 minutes, and he's walking around with me. First he was on the bus, then he was walking around. I'm like, okay, I'll walk you up and down through this casino. And I'm like, I can't shake the guy. And he can't find something else interesting. I was so sure that he would find something else interesting, but he was not. He was interested in talking to me. Now, there. And I mean, I got to the point where I basically told what I imagine would be my most offensive story. And even that didn't shake the kid. So, at that point, I'm just like, I gotta go. I literally said, I gotta go. And he's like, oh, really? And then I go, okay, there's a car or something down there. I wonder if it's a cop. Come on, boys. My 2 cats. Only 2, though. That's weird. I keep thinking I have 5. I have 4 cats. Very sad. Okay. So, after all that big yap story of what happened, and yes, I did finally shake the guy. So, now what I'm going to say next is probably like a duh thing. And whatever. Okay, so the point is, avoidant people, I mean, technically it's an assessment, it's a judgment, it's making up stories, it's however you want to put it, right? This protection thing will have a double protection. Which again, I'm pretty consistent with what I'm saying. I'm saying that this person might have been intrigued by these stories that I have to say, but they are not interested in me. That's impossible. So, what went through my head, though, because I was actually thinking this, I was like, yeah, this is the thoughts. It was actually layered. The first layer is, okay, it's a guy. Guys like to screw. Guys like to have sex. It's just sex. It doesn't really matter who it is. This is Vegas. You can buy it, but I clearly would be free. There's one level of why somebody would want to talk to somebody like me. They figure, okay, I'm probably pretty easy. And then, the second level was on top of it, which is, well, clearly this guy's going to try and rob me. Or else he's a prostitute and is expecting to get paid. So if there was the part of me that was like, okay, well, it's absolutely just opportunistic, thing, in which case, the niggling part of me said, there's a lot of people in this town. They could have, this person could have picked anybody. I mean, yeah, it looked like an easy target. But then immediately that could turn around to be instead of sort of a, well, it's the only thing that's available. Well, if that's not the case, then there needs to be another level of it, of why I would have been picked. Can't be. I mean, please, if somebody was going to pick somebody to go screw in Vegas, then they should pick somebody that's like attractive, like physically attractive. Don't start, okay, with trying to butter me up. Because, please. And maybe people really don't care. There are people out there that don't care. And there are people that are fetishizing other, things about people. That's possible. And there are people that are they find people interesting enough that they don't care about the physical. Again, the stories. That is a possibility. For that reason, I had to then come up with this second layer of reason. I mean, obviously, this was not going to happen in any way, right, shape, or form, but I must have been pegged as somebody who was willing to pay or was naive enough to get robbed. And this is exactly what went through my head. Now, there's a lot of reasons that I'm single and I will be single for, ever. But most of them, that one is, because again, it was like a complete stranger. So, They're going back up into those woods to freak me out so I can hear the rustling of the leaves. Anyway, but I go through layers like that with everybody. You know, that if somebody somehow made it through whatever my sort of defense strategy is, then I would just put up another wall and another set of things. I mean, so it's impossible for somebody to get through that, because there's always another one. There's always another layer. There's always another thought process of my assessment and assumption about what motivates the person. There's Poppy. Anyway, like I said, I'm probably going to be judged to death for this. I have had my personality absolutely solidified because I'm old. I think it's something like 27, 28 years old, you get your personality solidified. And then I've been sort of like on this trajectory, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse and more solid. Hence, never ever do I ever expect to actually have any sort of, even a friendship. At this point, I have better odds winning the lottery or winning at Vegas, because this is what my mind does. It finds reason to disbelieve and to mistrust. So, again, why then am I telling you this? And humiliating myself. Because I hope you can sort of think through your processes and pull it apart and realize these are choices that you're making. These are thoughts that you are having. If you're doing this sort of thing, and you're young enough, then you can basically retrain yourself. You can question every single automatic avoidant thought that comes into your head. I can question it and realize it's kind of stupid, and realize it's not real, and realize I'm making this up and it's not the truth. And that doesn't mean I'm going to act any differently. It just means I'm going to be aware of it. I mean, it's unfortunately, it goes the other way too. That if somebody gets in a relationship when they're young and then their avoidance solidifies, that even if that person treats them like absolute shit, they're probably going to stay with them forever. And they've actually documented this, that the group of people in the world least likely to get divorced are people with avoidant personality disorder. Because you get stuck. Anyway, I just thought that was an interesting phenomenon that I could see so clearly, like multiple layers of the stories I was telling and making up. Well, I mean, it seems like obviously true. And other people would hear that and they might actually, I mean, I don't know, but I bet that at least one person I know would be absolutely really pissed to hear that that's what the thought process I was having was. I mean, pissed. No peepers. I was hearing peepers earlier. They must be asleep. Anyway, so yeah. But pay attention when you're doing that sort of thing. I don't know how to change it. But I know the first step is to pay attention and see that something can exist, and then maybe you can come up with a way of changing it. So hopefully, okay, I mean, not hopefully, if you do this, then I hope that you can recognize that you're doing this. Then maybe you can stop, or maybe you can counteract it in a way that makes you able to, and exist in a different way, and to not fall down this trap of these are the thoughts, therefore, cutting your life off and making things impossible when they may be possible. I don't know. Anyway, that's enough of humiliating myself, I think. Bye.